Welcome back. I'm Alan Tutt, and this is Lesson 10 of Divine Dynamics. In this lesson, I'll show you how you can customize the manifestation process to your own personality and style. As you may recall from the first lesson of this course, there are three primary factors which make manifesting work: faith, focus, and feeling. As long as these factors are involved, you can really use any process you want. The main reason we've been focused on relaxing, indulging in positive emotions, imagining your desired outcome, and anchoring this in with a feeling of absolute truth and divine power is because this is the simplest and most direct way to manifest your desires. This process also works very well for those who've tried other methods before and failed. If you enjoy the harmonic prayer process as I've described it and feel no need to change it, then you can skip this lesson. Next week, we'll talk about how you can manifest without any formal process at all, which will be important when you find yourself in a difficult situation and you need to influence the outcome quickly. If that interests you, then I would ask you to go through this lesson at least once, because we'll refer to this lesson in the next one. If you study the history of manifesting, you'll find that many different types of processes have been used successfully. Everything from simple prayers directed to a divine being who is believed to answer prayers, to very complex rituals involving arcane symbols, specially prepared tools and props, sacred vestments, and scripted prayers in an ancient language, which must be spoken perfectly. The primary difference between these various forms of manifesting is the belief system of those using the processes. Some folks truly believe that simple prayers can work miracles, whereas others believe that the forces of the universe can only be directed through very carefully orchestrated rituals. The most important factor in manifesting is faith. And in reality, as long as your manifesting process gives you a feeling of faith that your desire will actually manifest, that's really the only thing that's absolutely necessary. Let me put it this way. If you truly believe that hopping up and down on one foot while singing Mary Had a Little Lamb would cause money to fall out of the sky, there's a good chance that would actually work. It's because of this power of belief that we have so many superstitions throughout the world, including those involving four-leaf clovers, horseshoes hanging near doorways, sports fans wearing specific shirts or hats when going to games, and on and on. In most cases, beliefs like these are formed when coincidence brings an item and a result into the same time and place more than once, and someone imagines a more direct connection. Once a belief is formed, it proceeds to reinforce itself by manifesting the expected outcome according to the belief of the person involved. In other words, those who only have a weak belief will only see weak results. Those who are absolutely convinced will see more consistent results. I've acknowledged that my ability to control weather probably started out like this, when the rain just happened to stop soon after I imagined a giant plastic dome over the area. In my case, though, I recognize it's just a belief, and I put that belief to work whenever I want or need specific weather conditions for an outdoor event. While it's not easy to create such a belief to use in manifesting, it's possible to take advantage of pre-existing beliefs. For example, which feels more accurate? That there's a divine being listening to your thoughts and responding in a way that gives you what you want? Or that there's a natural force of the universe, like gravity or magnetism, that may be harnessed to manifest your desires? There's no right or wrong here, just what feels more true to you. If you feel drawn to the idea of a divine being, do you feel that this divine being can be fickle and judgmental, and therefore must be approached in the right way? Or do you feel that such a being could only be fair and loving towards everyone equally, no matter what you may have done in the past? And if you feel more drawn to the idea of divine power as a universal force of nature, what processes seem most appropriate for using that power? Do you feel that using physical tools like candles, crystals, and geometric shapes will help you harness divine power? Or do you feel that this power can be directed using nothing more than your thoughts and/or feelings? Do you feel that willpower must be involved? Or are you comfortable with the idea that the only thing you have to do is send a clear message to the divine and wait for the divine to do the work for you? I realize that I'm giving you license to question most of what I've taught you in this course. By this point, you have either accepted what I've taught, or you still have reservations based on what you believe to be true. While I would love to have you accept my view of reality, it's much more important that you find a method of manifesting that works for you. If that means you take what you've learned from me and apply it to something completely different, that's perfectly okay. As they say, love isn't about getting the other person to do what you want. It's about helping them do what they want. So, let's see if I can help you create a custom manifesting process for yourself. The first step in constructing a custom manifestation process is to acknowledge the primary factors that must be included. I've listed them as faith, focus, and feeling, but they can also be described as connecting to the divine, communicating what you want to manifest, and declaring success. In the harmonic prayer process we've been using, connecting to the divine is accomplished through deep relaxation and indulging in positive emotions. It's possible to connect to the divine with any action that gives you a feeling of the divine. As children, many of us were taught to kneel beside our beds at night to pray. Many folks will hold prayer beads to help them connect to the divine. Lighting candles and incense works for some, whereas others feel a connection with the divine when working for crystals, pyramids, or jewelry crafted for this purpose. Those who practice ceremonial magic often have special robes and other vestments to be worn during the ritual, and putting these on is enough to give them a feeling of being connected to the divine. Some who practice Wicca will perform their ceremonies in the nude, and they feel most connected to the divine out in nature without any clothes at all. Feel free to experiment with any or all of these ideas, as well as ideas you find in books, movies, and your own imagination. An idea I've hinted at and plan to cover in more depth later is a process of relaxing deeply, going within, and asking your own inner divine essence to guide you in the selection of symbols and actions which can help you connect more deeply to the divine, and which may be used as part of a manifesting process. Personally, I find it enough to take a deep breath and focus on my own inner divine essence. This usually gives me enough of a divine connection to do what I need. If I need a little more, I imagine myself giving the divine a great big hug. The feeling of merging with the divine through this imaginary action is very powerful and quick. Once you can feel a connection to the divine, the next step in manifesting is to communicate to the divine what you want to manifest. In the harmonic prayer process, this is where you imagine your desired result in rich, vivid detail, as if it's now happening in the physical space around you. Again, this may be the most direct way to set your intention for manifesting, but it's not the only way. The vast majority of people will simply ask the divine for what they want using words. These words may or may not be phrased in a particular way. The words may not even be coherent or make logical sense. None of that really matters, as long as the person asking for help believes that the help will be given. The reason most folks don't get results from their prayers are because they lack faith, and because they usually don't make a divine connection, and their prayers go nowhere. Of course, this doesn't just apply to those praying to a divine being. Most of what you see in movies and books and online is also focused on the action stuff of manifesting, without proper attention to the connection and faith aspects. This is often true whenever you hear people referring to witches' spells, ceremonial magic, mantras, visualization, affirmations, or the use of crystals, candles, oils, or even voodoo dolls. You'll hear folks talking about using green candles to attract money, or writing a prayer on a piece of paper and then burying that paper near the front door, or maybe tapping on one point of your body to release stuck emotion and tap another spot to build your confidence. All of these are symbols, which may be used to represent the thing you want to manifest. Using symbols can speed up the process of manifesting, and they can also give you freedom to express your own personality and style. Using symbols requires a belief in the symbol and its ability to produce a particular manifestation, as well as pre-existing connection to the divine before any satisfactory results may be obtained. Now, the good news is that we're always connected to the divine. We wouldn't be alive otherwise. However, when manifesting, we usually need to make a stronger connection to the divine in order to get satisfactory results. Once you can feel a strong connection with the divine and you're following a plan you believe will work, then this part of the process can be incredibly fun, as long as you believe that's okay. This is where we get to play like children, waving magic wands, speaking gibberish, dressing up in odd clothes, and pretending to be gods and goddesses. If this type of activity seems childish and silly, you're perfectly welcome to follow a more reserved approach. Again, go with whatever you feel and believe will work best. The third and final aspect of manifesting to include in your custom process is some way to declare that the process is done and will be successful. In the harmonic prayer process, this is where we anchor our intention with the ideas of absolute truth, divine power, eternal persistence, and whatever else seems appropriate for our objective. Some folks end their prayers with the word Amen, or the phrase, so mote it be. Many will give thanks for the blessing soon to come. If a candle was part of the process is completed by extinguishing the flame. If special robes and other vestments were worn, putting them away closes out the process. Some folks will ring a bell, kiss one of the physical objects they used in the ritual, or bow to the divine. If you want to, you could dance a jig, throw a party, or draw a big check mark in the air. Again, how you close out your process is completely up to you. The important thing to keep in mind is that when you do it, make sure you feel a sense of success. If you walk away from the process wondering if it will work or not, you need to work on increasing your faith, and we covered that in an earlier lesson. Now, one of the easiest ways to assemble a custom process for yourself is to keep a notepad or a note app on your phone and jot down ideas whenever you find something you might want to try. You'll start to notice ideas everywhere, in books and movies, watching the news, and when chatting with friends. Remember, you want to address the main points of connecting to the divine, communicating what you want to manifest, then declaring success, even before you see results. As long as the elements you use address these points, you're free to do whatever you want. It's completely possible that a single action can address more than one of these factors. For example, some people use an artifact, such as a special crystal, a pyramid they can set inside, or a necklace with divine symbols engraved on a pendant. When they use these items, they not only feel a connection to the divine, they also feel that anything they do while using these tools is guaranteed to work. This is because the tool itself has become a symbol for divine power, absolute truth, and eternal persistence. In these cases, both faith and feeling are addressed with one action, and the only thing left to do is focus on communicating what you want to manifest to the divine. And this focus aspect can be as simple or as complex as you feel appropriate. Imagine a mage holding a magic crystal rod up to the sky and shouting, "Money!" If that person truly believes that this will draw money into their experience, it addresses all three factors and is about as simple a process as any. Someone else may choose to soak in a tub of hot perfumed water with candles burning and music playing. Then recite a rhyming chant about the thing they want to manifest. This process is completed when they get out of the tub and extinguish the candles. A process I used with good success was to draw up an astrological chart, placing symbols for the signs and planets on that chart in a way that suggested the thing I wanted to manifest into my life. This chart was hung up on a wall where I could see it daily, focus on the end result, and give thanks for what I was about to receive. The main reason this worked for me was because I had studied astrology for many years and had a strong belief in what each symbol meant and how well they correlated to physical events. When I visited Egypt back in 2016, I got the impression that the many symbols carved into the royal headpieces, the jewelry, the temples, were created as part of a manifesting process in which those who carved the symbols focused on protecting the pharaohs and enriching the community. When you have that many people all focused on manifesting the same thing, powerful results are more likely than not. And now it's time for your homework assignment. Except there's actually no homework assignment this week. This lesson was more about showing you what's possible, with the understanding that you're free to do as you please. If you've been happy with the harmonic prayer process as I've described it earlier in this course, there's no need to replace it with anything else. However, if my process doesn't quite fit you, this lesson was meant to give you some guidance in finding or creating a process that better suits your personality and style. If you end up deciding to use another process, you'll want to make sure that it addresses the three main factors of connecting to the divine, communicating what you want to manifest, and declaring success. Or as I tend to say it, the three factors of faith, focus, and feeling. Until next time, be blessed, my friend.